Hello, my name is Eliza Volk, and I'm going to guide you through a 5 elements meditation. These are the 5 elements of Ayurveda, which are ether, air, fire, water, and earth. And they are the building blocks of life. All of life creation is made up of these 5 elements. When we start to understand the qualities and characteristics of these elements, we're able to live in better relationship with both ourselves and the planet as a whole. So this meditation is going to guide you through these 5 elements so you can become more aware of them in your day-to-day life. Go ahead and find a comfortable seated position. And once you're there, I invite you to close your eyes. And right now in the jungle, you might hear some ebb and flow of the cicadas creating their song. And become present with exactly what is. Feel your connection to your body, that heavy, grounded connection with your seat beneath you. And bring your awareness into your breath, taking 3 deep, clarifying breaths to empty your mind. Let's inhale together. Exhale. And 2 more on your own time. Good. Now, this first element that we are going to explore is ether. Ether is space. It's the void in which all the other elements exist within. So I'd like you to envision yourself out in outer space. Out in the cosmos, this dark void speckled with stars. Infinite potential and possibility exists here. So just envision yourself surrounded by outer space. This is the element of ether, and ether is present within everything. It's a place of infinite possibility and potential. It's a place of oneness, consciousness, awareness, a connection to something much bigger than just ourselves. It's a place where prayers are heard and possibly answered. It's a place of spirit. Space, oneness, interconnectivity. Take a deep, expansive breath, becoming one with the element of ether. And we'll move on to our next element, which is air. Air or wind. I want you to envision yourself in the forest on a windy day, where the leaves are blowing in all sorts of directions. It's dry, it's cool, it changes quickly. Leaves on windy days look rather erratic, blowing in one direction and then the next, and very fast to make change. This is the element of wind or air. In our body, it presents itself in our mind and nervous system. So this place where we can change our thoughts quickly, we can think something in our brain and it sends a nervous system response. Our body reacts in a certain way, quick transmission of messages. It's light, it's fast, dry. If we envision hanging wet clothes out on the line on a windy day, it will dry much faster than on a stagnant, humid day. And it's quick, the way that our mind can be. Creative, witty. Take a deep breath here, inhaling up into your mind, into this place with quite a bit of wind element, and exhale. Fire, an element of hot transformation. Envision yourself sitting around a campfire with friends, the flames illuminating that joyful glow, creating warmth. Fire is hot. It's an element of transformation. As we add logs to a fire, they burn down to ashes, and they never will go back to being a log of wood again. In our body, there's a lot of fire present in our digestion, our metabolism, this place in our body responsible for transformation, for eating food, transforming the nutrients into useful things within our body, and expelling the waste that we don't need. It requires heat to go through this alchemization in our body. The liver, the gallbladder, these places carry a lot of fire. Now, just like the flames of a campfire, the element of fire, it's upward rising. It has a sharp focus. And not only does it rise up, it will also spread out. It's kind of contagious. And even in our personalities, when there's lots of joy and exuberance, this can be fire. And it's contagious, sitting around that campfire with friends. So feel into these qualities of the fire element. Take a deep breath into that fire of transformation located in your digestion. And we'll move on to the next element, which is water. Now you're floating down a river, and you're coming to a junction point where two rivers come together to form a bigger river. This deep, heavy, rhythmic flow of connection, of coming together. Water comes together. Streams flow into rivers, rivers flow into the ocean, and the ocean connects everything around the globe. Water is cool, it's dense, clarifying, lubricating. And in our body, we see this in our plasma and lymph, in our circulation. So the way our blood moves throughout our body, the lymph pumps throughout, it's circulating throughout our bodies. Water is an element, again, of connection and love and nourishment, nurturing one another. It's also an element of letting go and release. Let's take a deep breath into the water circulating throughout our bodies. Exhale and release, let go, as we move on to the next element of earth. For earth, envision climbing over big, solid boulders, rocks that build up the structure of the earth. They're hard to move, heavy, dense, stable. Right now in your body, I'd like you to connect with your sit bones and the points of contact on your body that are touching the earth beneath you. Notice that stability, that structure, that grounded sensation that glues you here in place. Earth doesn't move that much. It takes time and effort to move Earth, to move the structure. In our body, a great example of the earth element are our bones and our muscles. The parts of the body that give us our structure, give us our mass, carry a lot of earth element. Again, earth is about stability, structure, systems. Take a deep breath into this earth element, your sit bones connecting down to the earth beneath you. Good. And another deep breath to clarify your mind. We'll take a moment longer to sit here, to be still and silent in meditation. And to perhaps feel how these 5 elements are all interconnected. They make up all of life's existence. Bring your hands to prayer. We'll complete this part of the meditation together. And next we move on to how these 5 elements make up the 3 doshas. You can bow your chin to your chest. Release your hands to your thighs. And as you're ready, open your eyes, drawing in the light around you. We'll take a deep breath again together and just move the body a little bit. Clear yourself from the meditation. Come back to the video. Good. So these 5 elements make up the 3 doshas of Ayurveda. And these 3 doshas are Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Vata is made up of ether and air. Pitta is made up of fire and water, yet it's the hot, steamy water. And Kapha is made up of water and earth. So we're going to go through a brief explanation of these doshas together, so we can start to now recognize doshas in our body, in our day-to-day life. So the first dosha, like I said, it's ether and air. So we want to take the qualities that we just felt in that meditation of ether and air and see those like qualities to make up Vata. So for ether, there's consciousness, awareness, expansion. It's light. It's our connection with spirit and something higher than us. So it's a very upper chakra type of element, even though it's present in everything. And then with air, this is another one that, it's in our mind, our nervous system. It's quick, it's light, it moves fast, just like our mind can change. So both of these elements have similar characteristics. They're not completely the same, but in our body as the Vata dosha, it can present itself as dryness, light, a lot of mental activity, a connection to spirit. And if there's too much Vata, the mind might be way too quick, indecision, worry, anxiety or insomnia, things that are light and expansive. So I'm teaching about these doshas because if we see that in ourselves, and also transitions can create excess Vata. So if there's transition and our mind is shifting and we're moving, an example to bring balance to this would be to go into the elements of earth and water, which carry that stability and groundedness. So it's nice to be able to recognize these doshas so we can call ourselves out and see, okay, the mind is busy. There's a lot of air present. What can I do in my life that pulls in qualities of opposite elements? So that's our Vata dosha, light, expansive consciousness, the mind, dryness. And in a personality, it can be cheerful and witty and creative. It's this light mind stuff. But again, out of balance can be insomnia, anxiety, worry. So this is our Vata dosha. We'll move on to Pitta. Pitta is fire and heat. Although it is fire and water, it's only water when it's hot water, like boiling a tea kettle or volcanic steam. So we really want to think more of fire and heat because it's only water when there's fire actually applied to it to create this heat. So remembering our campfire and these flames that rise upward, single-pointed focus, they're sharp, intense, luminous, radiant. This is the Pitta dosha. In the body, anytime that we see redness, perhaps there's a rash or acne on the skin, heat rising, so acid reflux, if we go into the digestion and there's indigestion where there's a lot of heat and then it rises upwards, that's excess Pitta. And in personalities, many Pitta-type people, they're leaders, they're straightforward, they're go-getters, they have goals, they want to accomplish them. Yet with too much Pitta, they might burn bridges along the way. They have this desire, this burning passion, and perhaps they're not really listening to the messages of spirit or the messages of others, and they go for what they want, and it might work, or maybe they burn bridges. Or if it doesn't work, there could be frustration and anger. So that's when there's a lot of Pitta dosha present. And we'll move on to Kapha. Kapha is made up of water and earth. So this is our heaviest of the doshas. With the earth element, it's grounded, it's stable, it's structured. With the water, there's a deep rhythmic flow. So if we think of those rivers, the rivers take form of the earth around them. And simultaneously, after a very long time, the rivers start to change the way that the earth looks. But earth doesn't change too easily. It's not like wind in our mind where it goes from one thought to the next to the other, those leaves on a windy day. Instead, it's stable and solid. Again, in the body, this is the thing that gives us structure, heaviness. So places of our body where it's heavier. And also it can be located in the lungs where there can be excess mucus or congestion in the sinuses. So this excess water or earth element would be an excess of Kapha dosha. In personality, we can see it presented when there's too much Kapha as a depression or laziness, heaviness, feeling like a couch potato and not wanting to get up and move and make changes. So this is where we'd want to apply some opposite qualities to get things up and moving again. And on a positive note, people with a lot of Kapha dosha tend to be very loving and nurturing. They're like the earth mamas that want to cook for people and take care of others and do the laundry and just love and take care. But too much of that can also build into grudges or resentment. There's an excess of holding on and heaviness as opposed to lightness or heat of transformation to move that energy. So that's a brief introduction to these 5 elements that make up the building blocks of life and how they divide into these 3 doshas of Vata, Pitta, Kapha, so that you can start to recognize this in your day-to-day life and make positive choices to bring balance to what there might be an excess of or a lack of. When you recognize the qualities, you can bring in qualities that are opposite in your food and diet, exercise, asana, workout styles, even who you hang out with and the personalities that you surround yourself with, or just to understand other people more. It starts to give us an organization to move through life in alignment with the rhythms of nature, these characteristics that exist all around nature. So thank you for this class. Namaste.